Welcome to Butterflies of Wisdom, everyone. And as you know, today is Thursday, and I'm slowly but surely plowing through school. God knows what I got myself into, but that's okay. And I'm going to be really transparent with you guys because I think this fits in with today's subject of being connected and helping one another out. And even though we're going to be talking about the California wildfires too, which are mightily scary, we came up with this subject of connection to help each other out. And I'm going to be talking about my school and all that good stuff. So when I woke up this morning, I got my progress grade. My progress grade happens to be a D plus. And I'm like, okay, here we go. And I just got off the phone with my academic team, the head of special ed. And I asked them, I said, do you ever share with the professors what disabilities these students have? And she goes, oh no, that's confidential information. And so I'm thinking, oh boy, here we go, because I did not realize until my professor actually talked to special ed about that day. She didn't know that I had CP, and of course they won't tell her because that's confidential information. So, yeah, the reason why I think this puzzle piece fits in well with connection is because I've got a support team, including Mel, including my family, including my step family, that's really, really supporting me through the ups and downs of being the college student. I mean, let's face facts. I'm not in my 20s here, and I am certainly not able-bodied. Let's face facts. I'm in my 30s and have CT. So, talk about connection. I think I am doing a fantastic job for what I'm doing. And yes, I will get this degree. Yes, I will see Mel in 2019. Yes, I will see all my West Coast fans, those who decide to show up in person and give me a hug. And we may bring, Mel knows exactly what I'm talking about, we may bring a special toy out to California too, if I can figure that out, and because the toy's not at my house. And so I just wanted to give you a solid update on what I've been doing lately, and so I'm going to let Mel take it away on the subject of connection before I ramble on.
You're doing just fine, my friend. How are you, Wynn? Hello, everybody. How you doing? It's a beautiful day outside. No matter where you are and what corner of the world you're in, I hope you're having a terrific day. Okay, so connection. Where the inspiration comes from with that was yesterday here in Northern California, as you guys know, and basically all over California, there's a lot of fires going on, and there is some tragedy in that. There are a lot of homes being destroyed, a lot of lives being altered severely. And I was just compelled to do a post yesterday, a Facebook Live post yesterday, as I walked out of the house, and it was bleak and dreary, and the smoke covered the sun, and the sun was had a very hazy image to it. And you can look on my Facebook page, Mel Martin, and you'll see the video. And what struck me was just this outpouring of support and assistance that everybody's giving each other. And connection happens in humankind by default from a community level, from a community perspective when tragedy strikes. However, true connection amongst individuals happens by design, not by default. You have to make the effort to do that. And it's a choice of quality time spent with each other if you respect your own quality and time. And I'm at a point right now where I really don't engage in anything less than a real genuine, authentic connection. One of the best reasons why, I collaborate with Lynn, and we also have a great friendship and whatnot. So, I just wanted to kind of bring that to light and kind of explore that, Lynn. I mean, can you take a roster check and do an inventory list in your head of all the people in your life? Are they all strong connections for you, or do you have any that are like, maybe not, could, do a bit or not?
I got rid of one this morning, and she said, my ex-business partner, Colin Hall, who I got involved with books way back when, and she said, invest $200 in me and I'll get you to the top of my food chain. And I'm like, no thank you, and I honestly said nope, I'm doing this book thing on my own, which is a crowdfunded publishing deal. I actually have, this is my second publishing deal. I actually have one publishing deal, which I'm completely solidifying next week, out of Houston, Texas, believe it or not, which, Houston is another devastated area that still trying to recover.
Right.
And so, that is a relationship that I have for a long time, and I'm still working on that one. But I just got rid of a bad thing in my life this morning, and I honestly said to this person, no, I'm not paying you to help me. No, bad seed, and this is public knowledge. And what I've watched her do, and we've watched all of her do, is bad seed. And so the fact that she said that to me didn't sit well with me, because this is after I got the D+. So I was kind of in a negative attitude anyway. So connections, good connections, and what I'm realizing with this fashion journalism degree is it's all about connections. It's all about who you know, and it's all about who you, what's the word I'm looking for, jive with. And it's all about, because me opening up the door to the fashion industry now, I can finally call myself a journalist, thank you, after 4 years of self-training. Me opening up the door, if I didn't have these connections all across the country that I do, and with you and with San Francisco, I would be a mess. I would be a mess, because 9 times out of 10, I go on my phone and do my work online. I write books for my fan base. I do all this work for my fan base, and I love it. But at the same time, it's like people have got to respect me and got to respect BP, and I will bang to a different drum. And when my professor emailed me yesterday, and I took a screenshot of the email. In fact, I still have it on my phone. Mel has it. My book editor has it. I said, look, I'm in the fashion journalism program. I'm coming from a journalist perspective. A journalist is not going to walk around with a sketchbook at New York Fashion Week. I'm sorry, but they're not. They're going to walk around with a notepad, and not even that now. They're going to walk around with their iPhone and a notepad on that iPhone. And she goes, oh, because your major you need to know how fashion and designing works. I'm like, yeah, but at the same, I said, okay, here we go. And I said, and I thought about it. I took it to heart for 24 hours, and I thought, well, the fashion journalist that's certainly not walking around with a sketchbook. I see pictures from behind the scenes, and they're walking around with iPhones, and they're walking around with notepads. And so that ruffled my feathers yesterday, as Mel and everyone knew. But I'm like, you don't even know my disability. You haven't connected with me well enough to know my disability.
Well, that is unfortunate. And the funny thing is, I've learned in previous exchanges and relationships or whatnot, and as you say, it depends on who you jive with, who you gel with, what kind of chemistry you have. Sometimes it just boils down to just not being a good match. You know what I mean? I mean, I've had relationships that ended badly with people I've dated, for a short period of time and quite a long period of time. And putting aside the emotion of it all, if you look at it from a bird's eye view, sometimes a connection just cannot occur because you're just not a good match. And that's normal. That's going to happen. But when you do have a good kind of flow and you're kind of on the same landing page, so to speak, it's still a choice to have a really great connection. It takes work, right? Any kind of relationship, be it platonic, friendship, romantic, professional, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think if you're trying to increase the quality of your life professionally and personally, and really want to live at a high level, you have to do those connections. You know, be it with your counselors, with your teachers, with your mentors, with your friends, whoever, your students, whatever the case may be. And every person plays a different role in your body, in your life. Every person plays a different role in your life, and you just have to understand that you want to give 100%. It's important to give 100% if you expect to receive 100%. There's just no way around it. The formula just doesn't work any other way. Now, if you keep giving 100%, you're only receiving 50%, and you know it, and it's causing strife within you, and it's causing stress and emotional, duress or whatever, and it's going against your core values, well, sooner or later, you're the one to blame for that because you're tolerating it. One of the greatest things I've ever learned in life and business is that you are what you tolerate, and you are what you give, right? There's no way you could possibly have a mutually beneficial association or relationship unless you're aware of what you're giving and what you will tolerate back. I've done my fair share of rescuing. It just doesn't work.
No, this alone doesn't work. I think God only has to put up with this professor who doesn't open up eyes and see GT until December. And for those of you who are going back to school right now and have those professors that you don't drive with, trust me, I feel your pain. I feel your pain because this professor, I got yelled at yesterday because my assignment was, I submitted something on top of the assignment. She goes, it's too long. And I'm like, that's when it started. I'm like, hello, I'm a writer. And I had someone helping me who was helping me with IOMA. And it's like, she doesn't have time to read it. And she goes, it's too long, and takes a screenshot of it. So every single other student could see it. And and so thankfully I only have to put up with this professor until December. And thankfully I'm on my final project, you guys, of my first semester of school.
You know, the thing about it is when it comes to educational relationships with instructors and teachers, you remind me of this one college instructor I had.
Oh, boy.
English teacher, okay, what you're going through. And this professor, English professor, was just something else. You probably would rip your hair out. I remember we used to have to every week, once a week, at the end of the essay or writing assignment, we would have to go in a circle, all right, form our desks in a circle. Let's say there's 25 people in the class or 20 people, and you'd have to hand over your essay to the person to your right, and they would read it out loud.
Oh, boy.
Okay. Oh, yeah. This is a good one, right? Talk about a firing squad right away. And on top of that, at the end of the essay reading, he would just, critique it out loud in front of everybody, in front of God and the world, right? And so there you are, and then, being critiqued, and then everybody has to kind of chime in at the same time. And there were two things that I got out of that class, and what struck me was the beginning of the course when he said, if you can walk out and learn one thing from any course, any conversation, any relationship, just one thing, then you did your job, which was to listen and get the value out of it. Okay? And I don't know, for some reason that kind of struck me, right? So I thought, okay, I'll buy that, right? And so the semester was a semester, 3 months, 4 months, whatever the case may be. Finally, after this painful semester of turning over your essay to the right and getting just grilled by the teacher, the one thing I walked out with was, be specific with what you're saying, actually two things, and don't repeat your words. He hated using the word vicinity. Or it's like, let's say, and you'll hear this a lot when you come to the San Francisco area. He hated, the term Bay Area is used a lot. And Bay Area is synonymous nationally to just the San Francisco Bay Area, right? He would say, do not say that you're from the Bay Area. Say that you're from the city in the Bay Area. Well, I grew up in Hayward. I didn't grow up in the East Bay Area. I didn't grow up in the Bay Area. I didn't grow up in the East Bay Area, which is a little bit more specific. I grew up in Hayward. And he really drove home the idea of being very specific. And in a given paragraph or written, works, try not to repeat the same word a few times. That's what I got out of it. Yeah. One of the most important lessons I ever learned, especially in speaking, because my superpower more lies in speaking rather than in writing, So, again, there's chemistry doesn't sometimes you're not blessed with chemistry on occasion when you have to spend an extended amount of time with somebody, whether it's a work project or something like that, and you just have to make the best of it. And sometimes you just got to suck it up and go, okay, this may suck right now, but I'm going to get whatever I need out of it, and I'm going to move on. I mean, hopefully you don't have to do that a whole lot, but that often happens when you're a college student. You may not gel or jive with the teacher because you just don't. And rather than being pissed off about it and saying, oh, this sucks, I don't want to be there, and have that resentful energy going into it, just kind of take a deep breath again and say, okay, I paid for this education. I'm going to get one thing out of this class today. Yeah. And that's it. And it's worth it, right?
And
anyway, that's just been my experience.
I am too honest, and his colleague caught me the other day. We're sitting in class. This is the most embarrassing, talk about embarrassing moment. I'm like, why did I do this? And we're sitting in class, and we are discussing something. And I mumble under my breath. I didn't realize I had my microphone open. I am a journalist. And her colleague goes, when could you please mute your phone? I was like, oops.
Oh.
Oops.
Nice.
And so everyone heard that. And it's like, oops. There we go.
Right.
So that's my embarrassing college moment. So hopefully I don't have any more of these embarrassing college moments. But I'm going to read you what she sent to me because I have it on my phone. Hi, Win. Even though your major is journalism, you still have to understand how fashion is done, especially if you want to report on fashion skills and creative process. All I ask is that you take the feedback and build on it. So basically, and this is from the head of the department. So basically, all I'm doing is because yes, unbeknownst to her, I'm going to get my foot in the door at New York Fashion Week along with my lady. And so I'm taking her feedback and using it in my life and using it in my journalistic life, you guys. And I'm not a wallflower, if anyone noticed that yet. And so when things ruffle my feathers, I deal with it to the best of my abilities. But I'm not a wallflower. I am going, and this person will be at graduation. I know she will. And when I graduate in the fall of 2019, yes, they already declared my graduation date. We just don't know the date. This person will be at graduation, and so I have to be nice to her. And I'm going to be nice to her. And I just want to basically scream at her right now. And if I tried to do that the other day, but got caught, which was good, got caught with my hand in the cookie jar. But even though I have achy connection right now, I'm hoping that this connection with this teacher will be better, because the Academy of Arts community is so strong. I mean, I have a friend that I went, now listen to this one, I went to elementary school with, and middle school. And he's a phenomenal photographer, and I never knew where he got his photography skills. And I commented on one of his photography pieces of the San Francisco Blender. I remember this. And he goes, "Thank you, Win." When I'm in my program, I go, "Well, let me just see if this kid went to the Academy of Arts." Turns out he did. And I'm like, okay, so Aspen kids do the Academy of Arts, the creative, and because coming out of Aspen, you land up being creative. I mean, I know kids that go world competitive snowboarders and get sponsored at it. I know Olympians too, and I know people in the Ski Hall of Fame. And so coming out of a small town of Aspen, Colorado, you land up being creative, because if you can't think on your feet, you're screwed.
Well, yeah. It would be helpful if you had the mental dexterity to be able to do that, right? I mean, it's a skill set that you want to have as you get older, as you grow, so to speak. Not even so much older. There are people that just age biologically and never grow, right?
No.
I mean, I'm talking, just emotional intelligence and maturity and all that. I don't believe in growing old, so to speak. I'll be a kid for it. But there's a time and place for everything, and I know when to be an adult, and I know that, when not to be so serious about everything, right? That's really, really important. So, okay, well, if you could think of any other relationships or connections in your life in the future, what kind of people do you want to make connections with in the future, or how do you want to impact the world with by connecting to it. You know, what do you
It's so funny you say that, because my latest Facebook message to you is part of my final project is, and I saw you guys, you get to see behind the scenes of my homework, but that's the way we do things around here. Part of my final project is coming up with persona. So I thought about this, and I will continue to think about it. But in the future, I want to make heavy connections in the fashion world and in the writing world. I want to make my writing stronger so I can do it on my own. Thank you very much. And just not require so much help. And so I want to, of course, keep this podcast going to the best of my abilities. And this podcast, the recordings to you guys are being cut down to once a week. And then Mel and I are meeting on Thursdays. So if you haven't figured that out yet, figure that out yet now. And then and as soon as I graduate and fly and get my journalism legs underneath me officially, I'm launching Ask Win, which is going to be Ask Win, basically anything about cerebral palsy or anything. It's going to be a solo show, just me. Thank you very much. I already have the layout laid out. I already have the cover art laid out. And then as soon as I graduate, we're going to kick back into Wisdom of Style. I know now I told you May 22nd, but it turns out for me to graduate at a semi-decent time, which is in the fall of 2019, I have to take summer classes, lovely, which will be 7 weeks of summer classes. Hopefully the professors are nice in the summer, and yes, so I will be taking summer classes to graduate on time, because as you guys really know by now, I really want this degree, and so I'm doing everything in my power to achieve what I want. And so that being said, I hope that someone now in the fashion industry is listening to this podcast and can get me a job in the fashion industry, so I don't have to rely so much on my books. I mean, I thought about this the other night. I'm like, well, if I'm going to be working my way up to the top, I have to start at the bottom, just like anyone would with or without a disability. You can't automatically get in the doors of New York Fashion Week without having the training and without having the wherewithal to work it, so to speak.
Very true, very true. It sounds like you're prepared and you're pretty pumped up for this, aren't you?
No, and this is going to make me cry now that I'm on my final project. I am never so happy to be leaving the education field, and you people think I'm going into early retirement. No, I'm only switching careers at age 30. I'm finally earning my associate's degree. And if worse comes to worse, I'll go back to the Academy of Arts and take the Masters in Fine Arts in the writing. Physically, not online, because they don't offer that online. And so, but you never know with technology changing. I mean, I get the same classroom experience as the kids on campus, although it's a little bit easier for the kids on campus. It's not easy being an online student. Let me just set that straight. And so if I have to go back and get my MFA, Master's in Fine Arts in Writing, I will.
What's the
but
challenge of
right
being
now,
an online student? What do you find difficult about being an online student? Because I work in the online space myself. So let's compare. What is it that you find challenging about being an online student?
Not when I send, like today, I'll send my professor email, and I find the most challenging, which the sketchbook aspect was taking me almost 50 hours to do, and people were calling me nuts. People were saying, why are you spending so much time on your homework? And people knew that I had CD. But the biggest online challenge is communication. Believe it or not, it's not the actual classes. I'm getting a D plus, which I'm pulling up. I'm getting an A in one of my classes. It's not the online classes, so to speak. It's communication with the teachers. I mean, I barely have communications with my teachers. They won't give me their email addresses. They won't give me their phone numbers, and they will give me the head of the fashion department's email, and they will give me, I'm in the fashion department, even though I'm in the fashion journalism program. They will give me the school's phone number. No, I can get in contact with the fashion department easily. I just can't get in contact with my instructor. And instructors at my old college, Concordia, which I still have in my phone, I still have my English professor's phone number. And they were willing to give me and all the students, not because of my CP, their private phone numbers on their syllabuses. I can't even find a private email address to email my instructor.
And you're paying for this education?
I am, yes.
I meant that as a joke. Like, wow, okay. I mean, I would think, I'd like to think that communication would be like almost the easiest thing that you could achieve, with your instructors, because, simply for clarity's sake of an assignment, of a grade, of a question, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
I have, we have clients that pay a lot of money for my time, and I got to tell you, it's, if there's an issue or they have a question, I got to be there because I want them to succeed. I don't want them to fail. So,
yeah.
Wow.
So
okay.
no,
I
can I can get a hold of the fashion department. I can get the downfall of the Academy of Arts. I love my program. You're stuck with admissions from the beginning of school to the middle of the semester. Then they transfer you over to an academic advisor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, which
okay.
at my old school, they transferred me to a special ed person, and they transferred me to an academic advisor right at the beginning. And so I cannot, and the problem is my academic advisor has so many students that every time I try and call her, unless I book an appointment with her, it goes automatically to her voicemail.
Okay.
So communication and online don't mix. Connections and online do not mix either.
Right.
So
don't call us. We'll call you. Don't call us. We'll call you. Right.
Yeah, making these true connections and with professors. I mean, my studio class professor is not the most inspiring person. Luckily, I have the passion to do this. If I was in my 1920s area and I was just out of high school and I met this professor for the first time, I would drop the program completely.
Wow. Yeah, you're not going to do that. I mean, you want the program. You want to succeed.
No.
I mean,
right? No. But I'm talking about the typical college students.
Oh, sure. They're not going to have they're not going to have the tolerance for it, right? You know, they don't have the vision and the strength.
No.
Yeah, you got to be tough.
No, and tough. Yeah. And no, my notifications go off. I mean, I'm kidding. When I sit down after this phone call, I will probably have 2 notifications on my phone from my school, because every single person is, and I think I know I have published work. I'm the only one with published work. I'm the only one with a huge portfolio. And I am the only one in my 30s. I believe the rest are either young college students or just entering their typical freshman year.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, you're pretty serious about what you're doing, so I think you're gonna.
I am.
I think you'll be just fine.
I am.
You know.
I am, but communication, not so much.
Well, connections come in all different levels, right? I meant our episode to be about in-depth, intimate, and also meaningful connections, and that's true. That does exist, right? However, there are moments in your life and phases of your life where the connections are only as good as they can be, because there's a means to an end, there's a purpose for the association. It's more of an association rather than a relationship. It's more of a collaboration. There's not a whole lot emotionally invested in it and whatnot. But the foundation still has to be that, you want to have that solid connection, meaningful, growth-oriented, results-oriented, and process connection. There's just no 2 ways about it. You got to be able to trust. You got to be able to have a go-to person. I mean, how many times have you and I gone to each other for certain things, or just as sounding boards to each other, on certain events that happen, right? I could think of a couple, 2, 3 that we've done. You know what I mean? So, if you don't have that, I'm not really sure that you can live. Yeah. I mean, if you don't have that, I'm not too sure how you can live a really high quality life. You know what I'm saying?
No.
I mean, how can you? It would be very difficult and challenging to do so. And if anybody can show me how to do it, then I'd be pretty impressed, But,
I wouldn't be pretty impressed too.
Yeah.
And you guys, I may be, if I can get this worked out, I may be bringing exoskeleton out with me to California, or at least using one while I'm out there. I am, because they are in California, and so I'm going to try and contact my director and say, can I borrow exoskeleton, or can I use a California exoskeleton, and can you facilitate that? Talk about connections, because I am I am planning on walking without a walking to grab my diploma.
Right. Well, I will be there to see that. And
Yeah,
you're going to walk to
I know.
me and you're going to give me a big hug. You're going to do it all on your own power. That's what you're going to do.
I know. I know. And I will be working on that. I haven't necessarily told my friend yet that I want to do that,
right.
but I have to do a technology sketchbook for as part of my final project. And I thought,
right.
why not do it on the EXO, and why not show
right.
these kids and my professor new technology and
show the world.
So show the world. And I got permission to do that, you guys. So I haven't got permission to necessarily take the EXO away for weeks, but we'll work on that. Maybe California has to help me because
right.
now if you know any connections in that area, please help me. Or if anyone listening to this podcast knows, well, I'm asking for connections as we end this. If anyone knows of any PT facilities, and I'll use the power of Google too. If anyone knows of any PT facilities that use alternative walking devices that I can use, let me know. Or if we can get an EXO, that would be great. Or I can just figure out to go online. Or I can, my backup plan is to walk with my walker. My backup plan is to grab my diploma with my walker. See, I'm only planning my graduation. And so, yeah. So that is my backup plan.
Yeah, you don't ask, you don't get. You don't specifically ask, you'll never get, right? So
No.
Yeah.
And considering they left me, the doctors left me flat on my back, almost dead in the ICU for 3 days. Considering that I'm walking in an EXO now is a miracle. And so either way, I'm going to be standing up and getting that diploma. So if you guys know of any miracle PT programs out in California that can help me, and Mel, since you're in that industry too, that's your little project.
I'll see what kind of resources we have out here, and I'll pass them along to see if we can make it happen for you. And then I know of one. I know, but I know they don't have an EXO because EXOs are not cheap. Project Walk, which is based out of San Diego, is a walking facility, which they almost got me to go to the one in Denver. And I said, do you have an EXO? And they go, no. And so I'm like, why am I doing that? Why am I driving 4 hours to go to walking facility? And no, we were in communications with them. And I'm like, nope. Do you have an EXO? No. And so I'm like, why am I sitting in the car for 4 hours if you don't have what I need and what I want? So, anyway. All right. Well,
so yeah,
no worries.
I'll be, my backup plan is to, bring my walker, but my first ultimate plan is to find EXO and, to find a PT that's willing to be nice enough to, walk behind me with the EXO because and we'll do a full-on episode next week along with my personal persona. Now I want to explain to you more about the EXO. I want to explain to everyone more about the EXO. So along with my personal persona, which we're going through on audio, I am going to be explaining to you the exo. So yes, you get to see my homework assignment in action because I have to, I'm so used to getting in the bed then to walk that I have to now physically explain it before I put it down in my sketchbook.
Mm-hmm. Well, hey,
So,
you know what? It's pretty awesome stuff you got coming up ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
Absolutely.
We'll see what happens. And now, how would you like to close this episode? Now, do you want to talk about how people can donate to the California wildfires? I know, as a matter of fact, the Red Cross doing something.
Right. You know, there are a lot of people that need a lot of help out there, guys. So if you guys can just go on to Facebook or just Google, you know, California fires donations, something like that. Please be proactive. Take the initiative. Again, like I said, human connection happens by default from a community level, be it local, regional, national, or global, and during times of tragedy. And it's, you know, the last 6 months have just been really, really hard, you know, all over the world, especially here in our country. But you know, there was nothing more heartbreaking, along with all the other events in the last few months in the other states. But just watching the news the other day and just how they panned the camera on neighborhoods that were just left in just rubble of fire, you know, just burnt embers of homes that used to be there. And the only thing that even remotely looks like a home or a neighborhood was the streets and the blocks. And you could see empty squares of where the homes used to be. And I can't even imagine. As a matter of fact, one of my clients had an employee. He was telling me this morning that at 2 a.m. the other day, he was getting a call, and he wouldn't pick it up. And he kept calling and calling and calling and calling. By the time, finally, by the 5th time the call kept coming, he picked it up, and it was his brother. And he said, hey, you might want to take a look outside. So he walked outside, and there was a line of flame about 50 yards or so coming at him, at his home. And they had that much time to get out, him and his young family, you know, and wife and young kids, and just, you know, I don't even know how would you have a go bag or a ditch bag ready to go? I don't know. You just grab whatever you got.
They say,
as long as you got the kids and the wife,
they say have a go bag.
So I don't know.
They say have a go bag.
Yeah. I don't know if they have a home to come back to, but it was pretty hard, you know. So it's stuff like that. It's just heart-wrenching. And not to mention the animals.
I don't have a
My
go
God.
bag.
Yeah.
But everyone should
have
a go bag.
Right. Everybody should have a go bag. So make a go bag, peeps, and that's our closing.
Make a go bag.
Fortunate to right. I feel lucky to be connected to you, Lynn, and I love connecting with the world.
You.
So
and
lead with your heart, not your mind, people.
Yeah, lead with your heart and not with your mind. And thank you guys for your support. I mean, with my books and with my journalism degree, we'll get through this ship of a journalism degree. And no, I didn't say S-H-I-P, I said ship. Sailing the ship, you guys. I will not curse on my podcast, even though I feel like it, but I said ship. So we'll get through this ship, the rocky seas of a journalism degree, and lead with your heart, not with your mind, and reach out to those in need, and just be safe when, if your iPhone is sitting on your desk and you have to get out of your house for the wildfires, don't take your iPhone. Do not listen to this podcast, please. I know my biggest audience comes from California. I don't know why, but my biggest audience comes from California. So please lead with your heart, not your mind, and just be safe. Just be safe. I mean, the pictures I'm seeing on the LA News and the pictures I'm seen on MSNBC, devastating. So please just be safe and donate to your fellow human, and then we'll all be good. And then I'll be talking about the exo and doing my persona next week with email. And so welcome to almost the end of the semester, people. I can't believe that we've all sat through the first semester of my journalism degree. And no, I'm not stopping the program. It's been a rocky first semester, but that's what I expected as an online student. So lead with your heart, not with your mind, and we'll catch you guys next week. Thanks to you guys.
Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.